Anyanwu, I'm so sorry for making you cry. I was just angry that I was put in the middle of something I knew nothing about. I understand you were.
Anyanwu the mermaid reached the sea and reunited with her family. They were so happy to see her all grown up. For once, they thought she was dead. Anyanwu's species could change their tails into feet, but only as they grew older. However, she couldn't defend herself then, being vulnerable and young. Their senses heightened as they advanced in age. She hated her stay there, but she couldn't forget the face of the man that opened the gates for her. She remembered his handsome face and the calmness of his heart. She felt bad for him, but she had to do what she did for her freedom. For all she knew, he could be as wicked as the other man that kept her there. She knew he would be suffering because of the injury. The cut was deep, and she knew he would heal very slowly with their native medicine. Or he might never recover. She didn't want him to die because he was her savior. So she decided to go back in her human form and gave him the healing tonic. As she walked into the village, people looked at her weirdly. Her skin was glowing like the sun, and her steps were graceful. She walked her way to the palace and told the queen that she was there to treat the injured man. The queen, being desperate, took her to Chibueze. When Anyanwu got to the room, she told the queen to wait outside. After the queen left, she walked up to his bed, caressed his face, and said,
I'm so sorry. I was scared for my freedom. I have been held captive for many years. I will give you this tonic and you will feel better in no time.
"It's been 2 hours already," and all that while, Anyanwu couldn't stop looking at the man before her. He looked harmless, and because of that, she already had a soft spot for him. When Chibueze opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Anyanwu. They stared at each other for some time, and then she spoke.
I have done what I came here for. I will be on my way now.
Wait, please stay.
Fireworks shot through her body from where Chibueze held her hand.
Okay, but you must keep my identity a secret.
Chibueze asked her why she was in the basement and how she had gotten there. She told him everything. Chibueze was shocked that his father had kept her captive in their palace for a long time. And now he connected the dots together. He could see why his people were going missing and being killed. He could understand that her people were angry and were showing their anger on his people. Suddenly, he was filled with rage as he remembered the loss his village encountered because of her. Then he stood up because he felt better.
Get out. And I never want to see your face again.
Anyanwu was surprised by what he said, but then again, she knew he was angry about what happened to his village. To her, it was never her fault. She replied to him that she was sorry, but he turned his back on her. She left as he would not reply her. This was not how she hoped their meeting would end. Her heart cried for him, but she consoled herself with the little anger she nursed because he drove her out of the palace after she healed him, and he wouldn't allow her to explain. She left and never looked back. Chibueze was angry that his people suffered for what they did not know. He was angry that his father was not the one punished for his greed for rare things. He drove her away because he could not bear to see the one that caused his people suffering. But on a more logical note, she did nothing wrong. She was captured against her will, and he knew that based on the look of fear he saw on her face when he entered the basement. Right then, he felt he was harsh to her. He let his anger overshadow his sense of reasoning. He immediately felt the need to apologize to her on his father's behalf, but she was gone and was never coming back. So he moved on with his life. After some time, he heard her cry, the same cry he heard from Anyanwu while she was in the basement. He woke up and wondered why he would still hear her cry. This happened a few times every week that he thought something was wrong with him, but he decided to ignore it. Chibueze was ready to find a wife, so he traveled to different kingdoms in search of a princess to marry. Finally, he arrived at the Amansi kingdom. He was welcomed warmly, and then he told the king that he had come in search of a wife. The king brought his two daughters to him, and Chibueze saw Ngozi, the king's second daughter, and he immediately liked her. They started getting to know each other while he was still at the kingdom. But deep down within him, he felt as though he was doing something wrong. At night, while he slept, he dreamt of Anyanwu looking at him and crying. He woke up and couldn't understand anything concerning the dream. The next morning, Ngozi met with him and her father, and then she said she was no longer interested in Chibueze. He was shocked. He tried to talk to the king, but he turned him down, saying that he couldn't force his daughter to marry a man she did not want. Chibueze again went to another kingdom, and once he saw a princess he liked, he dreamt of Anyanwu, and she would automatically say she did not want. As the smart king that he was, he did not need a soothsayer to tell him that this was the work of Anyanwu. He went back to his kingdom. Then he went to the sea at night when he was sure everyone had left.
What is it that I have done to make you frustrate me this way? I released you from my father's cage. Was that the mistake I made? From the very first day we met, you have brought so much pain to me. Why? Please tell me why you have chosen to frustrate me this way.
He bowed his head as tears fell from his eyes. He returned to his palace as he was so confused. He could not share his problem with anyone as he was keeping her secret. He wouldn't want anyone to go after them and bring chaos to his village again. At night, while he slept, he dreamt of her, holding his face and said, "I am so sorry. I had no choice." Anyanwu saved Chibueze because he freed her, and she hurt him in the process. She didn't want her savior to die, and so she used the blood from her left palm to make a tonic that will heal him. In the sea, an unmarried woman is only supposed to give her husband the blood from her left palm as a symbol of marriage, and it can also be used for healing purposes. So in the case of Chibueze, Anyanwu had given him her blood to heal him and had sealed their fate together, unknown to him. He was never going to marry another woman as long as she lived. If he did, the woman would die mysteriously. She wished he knew what she had done. She wanted to tell him badly, but their last meeting ended on a bad note. She really thought he would love her, but oh boy, she was wrong. Sometimes she needed him to hold her like a husband would. To her, she was married, and she often felt the strong bond pulled towards him. But Chibueze could not feel it because he was human. And secondly, he hasn't come to terms with their bond. She knew when Chibueze came to the sea. She felt his aura. Chibueze was frustrated, and so was Anyanwu. One day, Anyanwu couldn't bear it anymore. She informed her people that she was going away to meet her husband, and she left. She arrived at Chibueze's kingdom, and when she got to the palace, she met him. Anger filled his face. His veins seemed as though they would burst. She knelt down immediately and pleaded for him to calm down, that they needed to talk. Chibueze took a deep breath to calm himself. He told her to stand and gave her a seat. She begged him to send everyone out. that they needed privacy, which he did without hesitation.
Please, Chiweze, forgive me for what I have done. I only wanted to save you, and that was the only way for me to do it. I want to be by your side and love you. It will give me peace to do that. Please.
She explained everything as to why she gave him her blood, not leaving any single detail. Chibueze sat silently and listened to all that she had said. Okay, he said curtly. Anyanwu smiled and thanked him. He gave her a room to sleep in. She thought he would take her to his room, but she was okay with the settings for now. Chibueze's mother asked him about Anyanwu, and he said that she was a friend that was visiting. His mother looked at her suspiciously. The face looked familiar, but she could not remember where. Chibueze would not speak to Anyanwu, not to talk more of doing what married couples do. He would order her and she would do whatever he said without complaints. Every night, he would bring new girls into his room just to spite her. Anyanwu would cry. Many times she had thought of leaving, but she would be the one to suffer more if she left. She might even die. Chibueze never slept with those women. He just wanted to make Anyanwu feel sad and frustrated, as he was all those months. One night, he woke up so parched, so he went to take some water. When he was returning to his room, he heard sobs coming from Anyawu's room. He gently opened the door and saw her small figure folded on the floor, with her face between her thighs. It felt as though she was broken. This melted his heart. He imagined her beautiful face stained with tears. He slowly walked up to her and carried her bridal style onto the bed. He made her sit on his lap and held her chin to have a good look at her face.
Anyanwu, I'm so sorry for making you cry. I was just angry that I was put in the middle of something I knew nothing about. I understand you were trying to save me, and I appreciate you for that. But at the same time, I did not sign up to get joined with you through a blood covenant. Don't get me wrong, I liked you from the first time I saw you, but I wanted to get to know you and all that. And if we were compatible, we can get married. But all this was so overwhelming. I'm so sorry, my sunshine.
He said and pecked her on the forehead. Anyawu's face lit up as he said those words. He took her to his room. When they got there, Anyanwu refused to lay on the bed. He knew what was on her mind.
It's okay. None of those girls laid on that bed.
Immediately, Anyanwu felt as though a burden had been lifted from her chest. They talked the whole night about each other, their kingdoms, and they cuddled later and slept. From that day, Chibueze and Anyanwu spent their free time together, and Chibueze started seeing different things that he loved about Anyanwu. Apart from her beauty, he proposed for them to get married. Anyanwu had no problem because to her, she already saw Chibueze as her husband. A date was fixed and they got married officially. Anyanwu then told Chibueze that she would like him to visit her parents, but as he couldn't swim, she would go on his behalf. She went and came back after a day. They were like the best couple ever. They cared and loved each other so much. The moral of this story: we shouldn't allow our anger overpower our sense of logical reasoning. Chikweze was angry with Anyanwu, but again, on a more logical note, he knew it wasn't her fault that she was captured. This story also reflects on the act of greed and consequences. There are consequences for everything we do. And again, it emphasizes on the act of communication, forgiveness, and sacrifice. Thank you for watching this story, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you haven't watched the part 1, you should go to my channel, it's there. Then this is the part 2 of Anyanwu. See you in the next video. Bye.